I'm live. Okay, that just doesn't work back there. Hold on a second. I'll just get some air because don't have the air conditioning on. A little later, but it's first time, like during the daylight. So, yay. All right. Um, John McCaig, JesusChristTrust.net. Uh, need to go over a few things. I think I named this pilgrimage, but I'm going to speak to that a little bit after I have some of the information here. So, I just gotta, what's the prophet for? Giving out information that's never been given out before, not ever, right? That's what they're for. So, if our time is ticking, tick tock, down, like I say, and it is, uh, then I have to constantly reveal information and truth that is integral to us winning this game for our freedom, our true actual freedom. So if you have any thoughts or questions or anything like that, please ask them. Sorry I missed the last 2 weeks. Hey, Valeria. Sorry I missed the last 2 weeks, but I was traveling and I just couldn't. I was actually driving during those 2 last Sundays as the only time I could do it, so I did it. And so thanks for your patience with that. I should have probably said something. I've just been crazy busy trying to do everything I have to do. So thanks for that. I'll be able to make this more regular. I'm going to speak to, that regularity and so on a little bit. But I'm going to go through some things here. Let's go through a whole bunch of truth here. And if your insurance claim video is great, thank you. Thank you very much. I thought that would be, yes, Valeria. You would, yes. I know you're engaged in something where that could be crazy, super useful, right? Yes. Good. Good. Right? You know what's up. Okay. So you can apply those principles and thoughts and so on. Fantastic. I'm happy to hear that. All right. I'm going to go through some things. I was just sitting down this morning and thinking, one thing I love about going to Maribama's Tube is I literally pick up a pen and can do automatic writing, like as much as I can fill a book. Literally, I could just sit there. I have filled like half of it. I was like, just go, and for me, I just want to be with God. Like I've done it, so I'm like, that's all that's all I'm chosen for, and that's an aspect of it, and at times I get to, sit down and write, oh, I have a message, I have to write something. But this morning was different. This morning, today, earlier before the show, it was just like sitting next to his tube. Like if I'm supposed to say something, then it comes right at me. And let's go through some of that information. And it kind of got brought up by a really good question that Al has been getting at in classroom and so on about time and all that. And it kind of brought on some other information needed to, because it's not just, what's going on with time. It's like, well, why is that happening? Not just what, but why it has to go along with it. This is happening and this is the reason why. Like, it doesn't help just to say, da, this is it. Well, this is the reason why. Because you have to understand the principles of work. Only a prophet would know that. Like Prophet like Muhammad, he heard directly, as he said, I get my information from Jabril. Same with me. I get it directly from Gabriel the angel. Get it directly from God's messenger. Get it directly from God. That's where I get it, my father. He's like, I have a messenger for that business. Here you go. God in three persons, Holy Spirit. Like God sending you a message, but God's busy being God. So I have a message service for you. that's infinite on its own, thoughts and so on. But once you become under the jurisdiction, just God, i.e., reaching the seventh plane, then that's the only thing that you hear that you recognize as worthy of listening to. It's not like some other things don't happen. Like your eyes could
Mhm.
cause a reaction, right? If you look at something, oh, I'm attracted to that. Oh, that's cool. That's like, you know, a burning building. Ah, it has a reaction. Oh, that's I'm sitting by the ocean in the perfect weather. And that has a reaction by your vision, just images. You see, so images matter because they produce thoughts and feelings. So what's in front of you produces by a reaction inside of you automatic. Oh, thoughts and feelings on that based on your past and programming. Da, 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 da. But what's in front of us should really not cause us to react. We should know the principles behind what produces our actions. And so even if an image is creates da da, it's like, well, oh, you were testing me. No, that's not gonna. You see, everything's a test. Thought, reaction is so on. And you just so we have God's name. God is running this game down on us to test us to bring us back home. So think about this. Uh, did Jesus say, I'm God? He did not. He did not say that. He said, I'm Son of God. That's who I say. But this is my Father, right? I'm not saying I'm God, right? No, Jesus didn't say that either. He said, I'm the Son of God. He didn't say, and hey, everybody, you're not. He didn't say that. No, I say I'm the Son of God, and everyone has to take that role on. Has to. Who else created you? How could you not be the son or daughter of God? Are you kidding me? What's what are you talking about? It's like it's not really that hard. You see what he said. It's not. What are you know? What are you talking about? So because Jesus, he didn't pray to himself, did he? He prayed to God, and so he prayed to God. And so, Father, right? Baba, Father. Baba means Father. Father, I know who my Father is. So, only God is real. Who is that? Who is God, right? Like, only God is real. See, the rest of it's not real. Did Jesus say I'm God? No, I'm Son of God. So he said also say I'm Son of Man, meaning I come through this. I had to come through this physical form. Even Jesus said, I'm a son of man, I'm son of God, both, right? Uh, so let me give you some words here. The seventh plane is when all feelings are dissolved in the one desire that emanates from God, which is only the desire to serve God. What does that mean? That means in the presence of God, there are no veils of that we have, right? We're feeling a separation from God. We're feeling, oh, I'm not myself. I'm not full, right? And they get us in this male female thing. Oh, if in this form that wants to unite with a female form, and that's a dead end. In other words, you die. So that's a dead end. But it's not evil or wrong or anything like that. It's not our it's like a stepping stone to teach us something, but it's not what we're trying to be reunited with, right? We're feeling a separation. We need union with what? With God. You see, it's not nothing against men and women or their roles which exist, you know that we find ourselves in. They exist, so they exist, so we have to play those roles. But that's not where. And in the proper relationship, you're like, is God, man, woman, child, animals. You know what I mean? Like, woman's supposed to be protected and nourished so they can focus on the children and home, and social situations and things they're extremely adept at that men aren't as adept at. And, you know, uh, a trust is really, the only way you can have marriage or something like you actually trust one another. And that has to sort of happen, and realize that it's possible to, be in a relationship and do that. It's just hard. And in fact, it's a way to progress faster because it is really hard. But the goal is the same, not like a perfect, oh, I have a perfect relationship and perfect marriage. And, uh, you know, that's not what we're going for, is it? No, it's perfect. You know, I mean, we're trying to do the best in our relationship and live our life the best way. Don't get me wrong, our actions matter. That's what I want to say. It's just if that's the only thing on your mind, you're not going to make it to the end game, you see? And you're not going to have a really perfect relationship because you're not actually striving towards the right goal, be with God. Okay. Uh, so in God's, okay, you see what I'm getting at, what free will is. Okay, you all haven't made it back to God. I remember it. There's a veil or many veils, depending on where you are spiritually, between you and the feeling of oneness, union. What the word yoga means is union with God. Uh, it ain't about bending your body. Sorry. uh, anyway, it's about that, right? And so, what is free will? I'm going to explain what free will is now. Free will. See, when we're in God's presence, what? God emanates. And when you're in God's presence, God emanates something that makes you experience the only feeling and the only thought and the only thing that you have as your one thought, feeling, whatever you want to say, the only thing that you are feeling, that you have on your mind, that comes from you and is coming towards you, is the desire to serve God. There's no getting away from that in God's presence. It's you, because you're not separate from realizing, oh, God is God. Now you're separate from that feeling, that knowing who God is, because you're not in God's presence. So, but when you're in God's presence, there's no, you know, the only thing, you just want to sit there like, what do you want? How can I serve you? Like, you see, so there's no test of a soul in God's presence. There isn't any. So free will is God placing the veils, right? Your soul never leaves God, but places the veils there, and then a spirit, a reflection of your soul, is sent in here to battle for uh your right, to reclaim your right to come home to God. And so what is free will? Free will is placing the veils in there. You see what I'm saying? And making it so you can't feel the emanation from God, that you're serving God. Because in God's presence, you cannot feel something else. It's not possible. You see, there's no duality. None. There's only one. That's God, and your only reason for existence, what else would it be? Would be to serve God. What else? What would ever cross your mind as something to do? Nothing. That ever is not possible. And God emanates, and the bliss to shatter all other reality is not reality. It's just bliss. Is and serve the bliss is shooting at you, and you're feeling as a response, I just want to serve God. In God's presence, that's what occurs. And nothing else. Nothing else is actually possible. So this game is God saying, well, what happens if you're not under that? You know, you're not under that feeling that I emanate. What happens if you don't feel that? Well, then who are you? Then are you worthy to be with me? And then can you actually be a servant of mine? Yes. You see, before that, you were under direct orders, just like an angel. You see, that's the angel say, how could you It's stupid. Even what do you, so this invention of this process is the feeling of separation, and that feeling of separation is free will. You see, what are you going to do now that you got your memory wiped? You're not feeling God, you're not seeing God. What are you going to do now? That's the real test. You see. So, one of this great questions that Alan brought up in classroom and so on was about time. Time exists inside a sphere, and it doesn't exist in the ocean outside the sphere. It simply doesn't exist. Time now, how is that possible? Time could exist and it doesn't exist as God. You know uh because God, only God is real. You see, say only God is real. In other words, a bubble in the ocean is what? That's not the ocean. Yeah, a bubble is on top of a wave crash. Oh, there's bubbles. That the bubbles pop, and wasn't it the ocean? Isn't it the ocean? Was it never not the ocean? Right? Wave hits the shore. That's what Bear Baba calls the making of a world is a wave. Then he calls the individuals in it, like myself, yourself, drops. So wave comes, hits the ocean, right? Hits the beach. Pow. Right? Everything together, a whole wave. Wow. It's all one. And nothing separate, right? There comes creation. Kablam. What happens? Pew! All the separateness, all these drops fly up. And they're feeling like, oh my God, wait, I'm on my own here. Wait a second. I have consciousness of being individualized because I just flew up as a drop. So I'm like, wait a second, what's this? The air and what the back into the ocean. You see, you come back with the knowledge of separateness. And you're like, you come back, you're like, wow, that was fake. Whoa, I was always the ocean, even when I flew up in the air. That's why God as the ocean, we use that uh, the wave of creation as uh, a a method to explain the situation. The situation. What else can you call this? The situation. Uh, okay, and those, the time exists in the sphere and it doesn't exist outside of the sphere, and that my consciousness is tied to the timeless aspect of what we are even now, and also being in the time world at the same time. That's impossible. That's irreconcilable difference, right? That's you cannot reconcile infinite with finite together. They go together. No, they don't. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You see, you have to accept, oh, I'm not this finite thing, meaning I was never finite. I was just experiencing this feeling of finite, but it wasn't me. Why am I experiencing it? So you can feel separate from God, so that when you're reunited, then you actually appreciate the situation. You see? Because before that, you're just, I'm in bliss, I'm under orders of God. That's all you are. You're happy. There's nothing. That's it. You see? There is nothing outside of that in God's presence. There never will be until you bring back this consciousness of, wow, being separate was, don't ever do that to me. What did I do? I did what you said, but God's like, no, no, you have to be here on your own free will. You have to serve me on your own free will, or see, you're not really loving God. You're just reacting to God and having a feeling, oh, I love you. Yeah, but I'm emanating infinite bliss and you can't think of anything but serving me. So, of course, you're going, yeah, you know. But after I wipe your memory and pull all this stuff on you, let's find out who you are then. You see? Uh, okay. So, what happens? The separateness dissolves like the ocean, a solution or the process of dissolving occurs into water, right? That's a solution, or the process be dissolving. So Separateness dissolves upon seeing God again, you see? But individual consciousness remains. And so that's irreconcilable. That because even in my state, you see what I'm saying? It's what's there are the two axioms that are both true at the same time. Oh my God, I'm you know in this body, and all I want to do is be with God. Wait, I'm already with God because I know God is real and so on. So these are irreconcilable. They can only stay together a very short time under the maximum authority of God. You see in an individual that God chooses to be in a body and speak the truth. Why me? Just because God chose me as the next in line. It's like a conveyor belt up in here, and who's going to be next? It's this conveyor belt goes on forever in here, but it actually never happened to God. You get outside of it, your God's presence. Oh, you get it. You see, time never happened. It already that's all done. So uh nothing anyone, because I've had this experience of going back to God, nothing anyone can do to me can ever turn me from God. It's not possible to, and not even taking my children, right? No, that doesn't turn me from God. No, I'm not. That's God has to take everything from you to get God. Who's willing to go that far? Only one. You see that he got set. He said in here. Only one's willing to go that far. So, uh, in the end, in the end, in the beginning, is fear of life and death that they have over us, right? That's programmed into us. And even if it's not our own, it's our children's. Our fear of their life and death. You see what I'm saying? But whose children are they? You know, I didn't come through my mother. You see, so I know I'm not her child, right? So, because the time loop starts after when I'm told I'm born. So I'm God's child. That's my father. Literally, it's not. I know. It's not like yeah. So that's kind of the difference between what, uh, like a shipyard and a harbor, right? You're harboring someone, right? But who created you, right? A shipbuilder would build a ship, but the harbor is where you use the ship. You leave the shipyard, and the ship's in the harbor. It comes and goes. Da da da. So, like if you're born before the time loop and so on, you're being harbored by, as an orphan, really, by your parents, right? Perry of the New Testaments, right? Perry, parents, Perry's, that's Perry's. So it's fairies, angels, of the New Testament, parents, Perry's parents. So they're here, to harbor you, to steward you and shepherd you, but they're not your parents. God is your father, you know, your creator of everything. That's all it is. We're all in the same predicament. There's, a woman never gave birth to me. That's why I was treated how I was, because the bond was never there. Uh, let's keep going here. So that's why they celebrate, like, yeah, holidays and calendar stuff, and birthdays and death days and all that stuff has major holiday significance because it actually has no meaning. It's actually what you're doing wrong. You just celebrate, oh, you reborn. Oh, you stupid. Why'd you get it right last time? That's what birthday should be about. This, death day should be about, oh, you didn't make it till the end of time. You got to make it till Judgment Day to not be reincarnated. So it's like, hey, it's bad for that reason, not whatever. You're not going to lose your consciousness. You're not going to dissolve, go away. You just go back to the ocean, come out. Okay, so when it says that, I'm just going to go through a bunch of stuff today. So, and I never explained before just because I am. So, the dead will rise again at the end of the Judgment Day, right? So Judgment Day is one day, dead will rise again. Yeah, okay. Everyone that dies before the right before Judgment Day, everybody dies, but they didn't win, so they're gonna rise again. You get sent back into a body and restart again. That's okay. That's how they're gonna rise again. Hey, click, blink, light switch on, start again. uh, and eternal life is granted in both ways, isn't it? Like you eternally have to die and live again until you don't have to die. You just make it till Judgment Day. Oh, I'm alive. You go to God. Hey, I won. Many have claimed to be a prophet, right? Many. Oh, I'm a prophet of this, but they don't say anything I do. That not one of them says anything on this level of truth. No one alive, no one, and uh, no one is showing you how all religions actually are explaining the same exact thing. No, that's not a role for anyone else. That's a role for a prophet. I'm not Christian, right? All right, I'm Christ consciousness. So in this time, I'm Christ. So that's it. So I'm trying to show you how all religions are showing the exact same thing. I'm not in a religion, right? I'm here to do what Mayor Baba said, right? String together all the religions like bees on a string and show you, oh, they're all the same thing. So let's go through what that means, right? So, there's age, loop. Then there's a cycle, which has 11 ages in it, right? So my perfect master, being one of the hidden ones, he's running every single one cycle from the beginning. He says the name of Krishna as God. That's what he got, come through. Under that name, respect Christ, Krishna. Get it? Same. So, but these cycles keep happening, and five perfect masters are here for the whole cycle, all of the different ones, and all the judgment days and all that stuff. My character doesn't come in until the last one, the shortest one, right? 64-year time loop, right before Baba, right at the top of the Rado Gailey uh, painting, the tower of Mayor Baba. Last one. I don't come for all the other ones. Why would I, right? What's the point? I just, hey, heads up, this is the truth. I live the most horrible one here. And then, but it's also the one because I come in, five perfect masters and one more. Got it? Okay. So, because I had to wake up. You see, to say they didn't have to wake up. They're awake for the whole thing. You see a perfect master, right? But them five, they're always awake. They always know everything of every single age. They don't never not know every single thing. They know every single thing. So they're managing it. And then when I come through, I get woken up. Not by them saying one single thing about anything or not by my consciousness, right? Being, oh, I'm with God. No, that's all. The veils are placed on me just the same. Same, same. But who I am is different. You see, to say you can place me in memory, wipe me, and do whatever you want. Guess what? Devil knows when I'm here. You follow me, and it ain't gonna work out. It's gonna be end time. Because what? Wipe my memory, do anything you want. It don't matter. You can't make me not who I am. It's not possible. Simple. And so, what is that telling you? That tells you all the way through God. I'm telling you, I'm nothing more than is son of God. Nothing more than a creation of my Creator. Same as you. You see, maybe in a different spot in creation and so on, but still, everyone has to go through this. Everyone has to do it. You can get off the ride when you follow the truth, and then win the game, and that's how you win. You listen to the truth. So, age and a cycle with all them ages is roughly 12,000 years. So it's actually not that great because what do I want to come back again? Hey, Hey, be fair. How do they treat me in here? How do they treat me? How do they treat me in here? You see why I don't want to come back? You see, man, right? You see how I'm treated. So I think it's. Don't you think it's great that I come back in here every 12,000? Even you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Come on. You see, like somebody has to take this role and do this. Like come back in here again. That's a tall freaking order. That's a big prayer. That's the biggest. Yeah, sure. You see, but every time, what? What's the point? Okay, so uh 9/11/2033, God returns, right? So does Jesus, right? Oh, you're decided by God. Oh, my son is coming, my best son, he's coming. And I'm telling you, I'm his son too. My brother's coming, my elder brother's coming. What? With brothers and sisters, people, did he say it? We're brothers and sisters. My elder brother's coming. Yeah, Jesus is coming. When if I hit my father's coming too, and they're coming. So I'm just the veils are removed for me. I know exactly what's going to happen, when they're coming, who's coming, and all that. I just know, and I can explain it because I know. I'm not separate from that knowledge. So, oh, I found a first edition 1955 copy come up of God Speaks in excuse me, eBay. Had a messed up cover, but the inside's perfect. I don't really care that much about the cover, right? So, uh, it has some water drops on it. It's partially dissolved. Anyway, what I'm finding from first readings of this and stuff is sort of like Mayor Baba said, "Oh, God Speaks has a spiritual atom bomb in it," and it does. So, actually, if you go to an earlier version, what happens is when you start reading that book and try to do, you can't. It's almost impossible. For most people, it is impossible. Why? There's certain spells, or there's certain spiritual aspects of the book that just allow you, that prevent you, make you tired, or something else comes up, or you just can't read it. It's plain as can be English, but you can't read it. And then what I'm seeing is, from reading a super earlier version of God Speaks, is there are parts that seem like I haven't read before. I've read that book several times. And now I'm reading it in its first version. I'm like, I don't remember reading this at all. So what's happening is, in an earlier version, it's like some of the veils on being able to, actually see and not have your memory wiped instantly upon reading it. It's like, whoosh, that's gone. I read it, but it's gone. That that spell is like removed. So or it's lessened to its maximum in an early version based on your spiritual plateau where you're at. You see, so I was surprised to find that when I read it. I just want to pass that technology on. I mean, it was a $200 version. It was cheap for that book. There aren't many of them, but it was when I was like, oh, I've been trying to test this thing, and that's what I found. For okay, that's why it's been in my head to get one of these. Oh, I see it has this thing about it. Okay, that's good. So you know, because when you go to like a Bear Baba Center, you're not allowed to use divination tools, and except for they got his book. So, well, isn't that a divination tool? You see what I'm saying? So, what's his is Baba say is his most important written work? God Speaks. So, isn't that the most important divination tool? So, isn't the earliest, most unrevised version the highest divination tool? You see, that's why I was got it to see it. Oh, it doesn't have that aspect. So you could access more of the truth through that because of the nature of what it is. Just giving you feedback or review on the first version of God Speaks. Okay. Uh so here's I'm gonna say some stuff, and yeah, I'm gonna keep blowing your mind. Okay. Verisimilitude means what Baba says. Only God is real. Only God is real. Only God is real. You don't understand what that means, but you need to understand what that means. I'm gonna go through some of that. So I kind of went through it with the ocean and the drops and so on, right? Uh, Hold on a sec. So let's go into this. All right. I bet I have some videos coming up that are scheduled into the my video schedule, but I'm gonna go into some of this time loop stuff and some more time loop information. A couple things before I get into some absolute details of it. Like I'm gonna decode some flags and the cross and so on and so on. Uh, I'm just gonna make a declaration that I can't be killed until Judgment Day. Anyone can try, no one can do it. Period. Uh, and why do I do this? Why does this occur? Due to the story of the sacrifice of Jesus. Jesus is real. I met him, so the sacrifice is real. Just in another, his sacrifice is so. Can you can you fathom this? You see what I'm saying? What Jesus done in the time that he done it wasn't even in this age. Do you follow? And it 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 permeated every single age of this cycle. You follow? He runs every age. How is that possible? From him time forward, how is that possible? They can't say, "Oh, he didn't live before that, so it wasn't in the mindset of the time cycle and stuff." But when he come, his his actions in that age permeate every other age of the cycle. Do you see? You see how it does that? That's how, God is present in all ages cycles based on your actions. The karma matters even across the entire cycle. It is possible to have that impact because Jesus did have that impact. Rocky Horror Picture Show called The Time Warp. Yeah, exactly. Let's do the time warp. What's the important word in this? Let's do the time warp again. Right? Again is the important. Uh. Yeah. No, absolutely, Jay. Yeah. Let's do the time warp. And plus, that's in like, the 70s. Rocky Horror. So they're like, all, let's strip his trannies now and get you ready for later. Let's just, again and again. Yeah, totally. So, you know, and then the actors were, we're not allowed to tell you, but you're in the time warp. Ha 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 ha. It's just- Ooh. But when you see it like that, you see their vastness of it. You're like, freaks you out. But then, oh, wait a minute, a game would have to be so vast and so impossible that it could actually exist. It would have to be like that to prove what? That God is that vast and impossible to understand. You see what I'm saying? The way it's so difficult. J Bob, all right. The center of the house in the house. All right. So I'm gonna do some decoding and stuff. Uh Brothers and sisters, right? In other words, I know I was born outside the time loop. I know God is my father. And so I know anyone born, it don't matter whether you come through a woman or not. What does that have meaning to? Nothing, right? Except you're God's children, brothers and sisters. Treat yourself as brothers and sisters, right? Stop the incest, really. Think about it. Think about it. Why you have a desire for your brother or sister? You're supposed to have a desire for you to do with God. We got less than 10 years left. Stop messing around with silly stuff. I'm not saying don't have a relationship with a man or a woman. I'm not saying that, but that is so the just down a list of importance. If you're in one, God is the most important thing. That's it. That's where it is. Okay, so I'm going to do some heavy decoding of information today. Like this is going to be rough. For you to have to process some of this stuff. And I get it. Here we go. Anything comes up on your mind or you're working through something or whatever, I'm here. I'm you're supposed to say. You're not supposed to be scared of the answer. The truth is supposed to scare you. You know, it's scary for a minute. Then you process it. Then you go, oh, okay. It all is removing veils and letting you know one thing: God loves you, and that's the only thing that's real, and that's it. There's nothing else going on. Once you know that, oh, it's just always a reminder. Oh, okay. So, all right, let's go through some of that. Of course, I'm gonna have to, I do darshan 3 times a week. Jump circles. I'm gonna keep that up, and when right because miracles happen around me, not magic, miracles, and I teach miracles. That's what I do. Hey, get out of death and taxes. What? Yeah, no, that's a miracle. That ain't a card trick. You know, that's a miracle. And I don't say, hey, I'm going to give you a miracle. Oh, no. God gives miracles who I pray to. And what I'm going to try to just show you only one thing. Guess what? I'm teaching miracles to guess who? You. Because you're not lesser than or any of that. No, you're God's child and my brother or sister. So you could do this. That's it. I'm teaching you how. I come in and teach you how. That's all. It's not that complex. We have a short time, so we don't need that many tools, and we can still get the job done. Because what? They have everything in this world, and what do we have? We have God. So they're screwed. They lose. So just stick to the truth. Okay? All right. So let's go through some signs and symbols here. It's important. First one's gonna be a tough one for you, and I hate it. But it's true, right? Crucifixion. Let's talk about that, okay? What is like Christ is the crux of everything, right? The nexus point, infinity times infinity. He's the one that God said, "Oh, what you did at your age, I'll give it to you for the rest of the cycle. It's you. You're the one. You're the name. We have your name. They're gonna have your name. God's like, I'm giving you this name, Jesus Christ. That's my son. No one gets to me except for if you bend the knee to him, and then he's gonna say, "Oh, I got one for you." Right? Crucifixion. Wait a second. What's the word? Fiction. You said it. You said it 100 times, maybe more. Fiction. Right? It's a fiction. It's a fiction. Don't you understand? Only God is real. Right? A cross. It's like a coin. It has 3 sides, doesn't it? Yes. A cross has 4 points. Curse. Oh, right? Jesus Christ. It's the innate curse we have against evil. It utters forth from us. It doesn't even we don't even who said that? It emanates in the presence of evil or difficulty. Absolutely. Curse that overcomes. Right? You know what grandfather means in sign language, right? It's what is it? It's this double rainbow from the third eye, right? Double rainbow from the third eye. Baba, father, grandfather. Okay. So it's a fiction, right? Did Jesus live in this timeline that we're in? No, that's a fiction. No. He did Bear Baba? No. Fiction, fiction. Other ages, yes. But fiction, fiction. It's a fiction, right? It did happen in this age. They're cursed, yeah. But they're cursing themselves, right? I went through what free will is before you showed up, Dee Dee. I explained free will. Let me do it again because it's an important point here, isn't it? What is free will? Okay, it's simple. In the presence of God, right? Free will does not exist. Why? Because God emanates bliss, power, and knowledge, and you're not separate from the knowledge that that is God right over there. In fact, you cannot experience anything else because that's the only experience that actually exists. This is all fake. This is an illusion. That's the only one that exists in actual reality. No other experience will exist except for this false reality. So in that reality, no free will, right? Because of the nature of God. So God gives us a test, right? So what is free will? The placing of veils between us and God is free will. It's the removal of the feeling of the emanation of God. That is free will. Where you take in your consciousness and that's all you got. And what's removed is the feeling of that emanation from God. Do what you will. That's right, up here. That's right. And they want you, right? The dark wants you so bad up here that like we're gonna turn white. It's like you better start running. That's you better start running. It is. It is God's highest servant, right? Before his son of God is coming, right? God's highest servant. I mean, could you imagine having could you imagine knowing? Could you I weep for the devil. Just to even think about that. Could you imagine never getting out of here? Oh God, it would drive you to horror, the deepest, darkest, to be locked in a prison and not be able to die. I forgive the devil. Who would not, you know, come out the same way? Can't even, I can't even take prison for 5 weeks for 5 minutes, The biz dope for 5 seconds, it's like, and that creature has to stay in here. No, I weep for the devil. Oh, you see, you weep for your enemy. What does your enemy have? Something of a horror of a nature that you've experienced in a short time, but nothing of which you can really quite understand. Unlimited prison. It's so, even if you run everything, who cares? That's why on the way out, the devil's like, hey, you can have my slot. It's like, I know what? You think somebody wants your slot that knows what I know? Are you, dude? In a way, the devil gets you there, here. So, you know, like my brother's trapped up here. Yeah, that brother, you see, it's a service that, and so what? When you feel that difficulty that they have, that's all of them. That's the whole hive has that difficulty. They can't come through. You see, it's broken. So I have to hit him with this whole place with a sledgehammer to shake one soul from this tree of the devil. Impossible. But it's happening with a couple, with a few. Uh, Jack wanted to get the devil, and God takes everything from Jack to show you to pray for them. Yeah. No, you have to because once you finally learn from experience of what they have to do and so on, you realize, oh, I had to do that too, and that's how I got here, and God, no way out. Just there's what would be the purpose of life? You see what I'm saying? You know, you could never. I could never kill myself fast enough. You know what I mean? No, you'd kill yourself so many times. You'd be like, this isn't working, and you keep coming back and you keep, so you're like, what do I have to do? And then you learn, and it's so endless. It is until there is an end, because you've done everything they done. You can't remember it, but how else did you get here? Why are you special? Why would God say this one is special and that one isn't? No, God don't think like that. They're all God's creations. You're individually spiritually special at a different moment. Yes, but no less special because God sees everything as, oh, one day, because God is timeless, you're going to get there. So God sees you as there already. And that's it. So God don't see that struggle. God, it's just as a necessity. It's a necessity, and God knows it's a necessity, and it's a necessity, and that's it. Necessity is the mother of invention. So you will come out the other side, and that's it, as I did. Everyone will in the time that God chooses, or you choose, right? The veils are removed, so it's up to you. Swing for the fences, right? Fiction, crucifixion. You got to get out of this fictional story. All that time just to get this point, exactly. No, it's impossible to. But you see, once you can intellectually take that in, which everyone here can intellectually actually take that in. You see what I'm saying? Because you've been studying my work and everything, and you know, oh man, it's all true. And so you're like, you can intellectually take in that those are irreconcilable. You see what I'm saying? God, that much time, that much. This is irreconcilable in the face of every single thing we're told, except for one thing: God is real. That's how else could any of this shit be happening? Are you kidding me? Crazy. It's too much. You see to say it all reveals God at the end. It's just like it's never what they said, but if you look into the truth of this, like it's overwhelming. Okay, let's keep going. I say this often, it's not complicated, it's shocking, but not complicated. No. It just becomes impossible. You know what I mean? It's so, oh, the air is clean today. Yeah. In a dome. How? It's like, oh well, that's simple. It's a miracle. And God. Yeah, it's simple because of that. Otherwise it's impossible. Jack has always said the devil will waste your time, and I learned that the hard way. That's yeah. Yeah. No, it's the predicament of the devil is the harshest sentence, to be our servant. It's a way not to be. You just hate the human's guts and you're my servant. It's like no problem. I can do that forever. It's like, oh, sad for that one. So let's do some more decoding. I did some videos on this and so on, but let's talk about every flag. Probably I was just uh, you know, I lived in Maryland as a youth, and so half mile from the city line in DC. And so uh, there was a Maryland flag up on somebody's little sunshade on the beach. I was coming out for a swim, and I was like, I was in the water. I looked over. I was like, oh man, I know that flag. I was like, I know that thing says 64 on it. It's a complicated little thing. I never really looked at it closely, but I was like, I know that thing says 64. I just walked by and I was like, yeah, this is Mary's place, right? Oh no, the mother of God. Nah, right? Not the shipyard, the harbor. Did it come through her? What? What do you mean? What do you mean? No way. I did not. No way he did. That's from all the birth of Jesus. Uh huh. Oh, you think? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, nope. Nope. No, didn't. No. Nope. They have for me that nope. Okay, so I look at a flag, right? The 64. It's like 16 in one squares is yellow and black, yellow, black, like checkerboard thing up in there. Oh, it's a square of four. And so this one has 16, this one has 16, and this one has like eight, and this one has eight. But it's a two-sided flag, right? So it's like, anyway, it's like 8 and 8, 64. And then if we're all squares, it would be 60, 60, 60, 64. Okay, that's Maryland. And I'm gonna do all I might do all the flags. It's a lot of videos, but I just started like Alabama. I was like, hey, I could go through 'em right now. I pulled up and I was like, I just looked, I'm gonna do it. But Alabama, right? It's I didn't know what it was, but it's a red cross over a white background. So what is that? That's a four-pointed thing. So four and O is four, triangles of white. So that's 4, 4. So that's 8 on one side. It's a two-sided flag. 8 times 8 is 64. Alabama flag. Go through and same with Alaska. Right? It was Alabama, Alaska. Alaska is 8 stars, so it's a two-sided flag. 8 times 8 is 64. I'm just could do every flag, every country. And people are like, no, 64-year time limit is fake. No, no. What? It's every religion. It's every flag. It's everything. You're saying I'm wrong. Yeah. But I'm right up until this point. I got over a decade of being absolutely right, sharing everything nobody knew, but now I'm wrong. But every flag, every religion, everyone. Anyway, so at some point, right? Uh, this is what my plans sometimes take a really long time to come to fruition because it's just me. But I really like to have. You ever see that Bob Dylan video? It's an old one. It's I think it's uh I forget I haven't looked at it in so many years I can't really remember. But he's got a series of placards, uh and he's like got the words of the song on it. So it's like 50, 60 C's hold it and then sing the song. He's go like this, so you're reading the words. It was pretty clever. But I think something like that of images is a way I need to start teaching. Like I need to go to the street. Miracles turn people and nothing else does. If I don't do miracles, well, right? Let's just be real. Not magic, miracles. So things that other people could do, I need to show as possible up here by the laws of God that I can access and that anyone can access. So I need to say, oh, hey, this blackbird is Igawitra, here's a rainbow. Just basically take them through it with images and then get to the point at the end of doing that and say, basically, do you accept truth, God, and ask God for the forgiveness of your sins and that you won't repeat them? You see what I'm saying? Any religion, I'm not going to be religion based or nothing like that. And then, you know, show people how baptism is done by the way Baba did it, the way Jesus done it. You kneel at someone's feet, you pour water on your feet. You're not dunking women in their clothes and water. What the? What are you? Who do you? You see what I'm saying? Because you know how does baptism occur, right? No. You see, I need to do this more often. I've done it, but I need to do it more often with video and show people how to do it because that's my role, obviously. But I need to do it more. Bring up the demons to show them, just because you got to see the other world. Anyway, how will you be able to baptize someone you can't? Who does it? God, not you, right? So someone makes a declaration in public. I have sinned before God and I will stop doing it because I understand the truth. Because I'll sit there and tell them the truth. This is the truth. Do you want forgiveness of your sins after you know the truth? Okay, come up. I kneel, right? And why am I kneeling in front of this person? Because I do nothing. I'm no one. God does everything. I'm God's servant. Period. Please God, can you answer their prayer? That's all I can do is wash their feet and say, they had to tread this earth. You made them. You make us all. So wash the sins from their feet, the dust from this trail, and say they want to be new now, and they won't do it again because they accept the truth. Because only a prophet can say the truth. Now you accept the truth. You can go to God. No one else can actually go because no one is doing that, are they? No one's kneeling and asking for God for the forgiveness of the sins, and no one's saying, I won't forgive this. Somebody says, and I won't repeat them. No one's saying that either. You see, you're saying both sides. It doesn't work. It's so obvious. Say it takes me a long time to get stuff done because it's just me doing stuff. But that's where I'm headed. So anyway, I thought I'd release a lot of truth because God wanted me to. Because there's just going to be the people that actually are coming to God. Look at how many people are in here. So few, so few. This but that's mind-boggling to me. So should be to you saying that God's running this whole game down and giving a profit out of America. And there are how many people up here? Come on, right? It's amazing. So that's how much God loves you. Keep up the good work. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts or questions, but I done a heavy hour of uh profiteering, 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 right? Like a pirate. A pirating, profiteering. I'm telling you profit stuff. uh, yeah, the odds, Alan. Think of it on my end, right? God's like, oh, go tell everyone to turn everyone to God. Man, who's the biggest failure in this dome? Me. Totally. I get freaking 5. You, I'm totally not separate from God. I tell everyone the whole truth. And I got to go back to God, kneel at God's feet, and say, dude, I got 5. I fucking tried my hardest. I got 5. And beg for forgiveness myself. Because I got freaking 5. The worst. Go ahead, man. Credit, whatever. Let's do it all. I'm doing it all here. Come on. Let's kick it. Questions. Let's finish out with questions. That's what I got to say. What you got? He had a God score like 7. No. He had a good score. Congratulations. Good. You still start building up that credit profile, and if they send helicopter money, it's like, don't forget to stop here, Amazon. Well, I come around again finally too. They don't give me no full come offs anymore. I gotta wait the full 7. So how do you stack up cars for your person? You don't want to stack up that many cars for your person. You want to start with Chase and then City next. You want to get one of each of them. Then you really want to get over there on and one for Amex. And then you really don't want to get other things for your person. If you could just start with those 3, you might have to jump in with a Capital One or something else, but you'd start with whatever you could of them. Amex, probably going to give it to you first, and then if you need Capital One, use it, but I wouldn't. But then Chase and then City, if you could get them, you want those 3, and then you move on to your trust credit, because you don't want to have that many inquiries or necessarily that many cards on your person. You want to have it all there hidden over all your trust credit. But like Chase don't like me so much anymore because of Christian Ministries trusted him wasn't able to pay back 70 grand or some whatever of credit card stuff, not personally guaranteed by me, but I created Christian Ministries Trust and they don't want to give me a credit card now, period. So they ain't on my list, so I move on, you see. So but they get a 524 rule, so you want to start with them because they got the best credit cards in America. business and personal. So you want to get to Chase as fast as you can, but I can't even get to them, so they're off the checkerboard for me. You told me about the 524, yeah. So you start there. You want to get to Chase as fast as you can on your person, and then get City 2. Then get it over to your trust, so you do your credit over there as much as possible. Okay, that's all. Just start like that and do it in the classroom, and just be like, yeah, come in. Anybody can come into the church anytime and do anything up in there. Ask any question under this one, because actually, that's where I'm moving to very soon. Actually, so you know, heads up to the real crew. To remove person credit report. You said send the court outcome and EIS. I just sent the outcome from court. Good. But with the letter to remove it and all that stuff. Oh, yeah. Here's the. Oh, you said here. Send the paperwork for deletion. Here it is. Yeah. There you go. Can you elaborate on the Holy Ghost? That's Gabriel. Holy Ghost is Gabriel, the angel. That's who it is. That's the character that plays it. And in God Speaks, there's one place where it says, even Gabriel the angel cannot move past this explained. The highest, you see, that's God's messenger in here. God is Gabriel's the here, being a messenger for God, which is all around us. So Gabriel's, this is what. Yeah, I have witnessed that, Gabriel did show, what do you say, itself, himself, angel self to DDM myself. So it's just simply real. And so that's the trifold nature of God in this age is Mirababa, right? Compassionate Father, uh, his son, Jesus, right? Not to say that the other incarnations from the other ages aren't real as sons of God. Krishna's real, 100%. You see the saying, other ages in this cycle. Real, 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 real. Well, how many cycles are there and how many ages? Infinite. Come on, don't think like that. Think like I can help you now. If you think like that, then you get dissolved and all that too early. Your vessel will crack if you know all that. You can't take it in. You have to play this game. This one. How does it relate to each individual atma? It relates under the will of God. That's how the relationship of what is it? What is Gabriel sending, right? Thoughts. We're being sent thoughts anyway. You see? Only when you pass Gabriel and get to, Christ consciousness are you not separate from Gabriel, the messenger, or God. You're not separate anymore. You're when a message is coming through, that's that. And you're not separate from knowing that God is emanating, because you met with God and it doesn't wear off. It doesn't shake away. It doesn't go down over time. It doesn't all other reasons for existence evaporate in that moment and never reappear. They don't reappear, they're gone forever. Desires are all blasted away in the face of God. All desires except for to serve God. Period. And that is the only message that is actually God's only message is what is emanating from God. So we're not receiving that. So God sends a messenger to be like, hey, do this, do that, which are all feelings of the nature of God, right? Angels can't be real. How could God be telling me something that is absolutely 100% correct and I have to do immediately? How's that possible? You see, that's the nature of that messenger. So, to the individual Atma. Well, Again, Bear Mama says that, the individual atmas are created, right? And that he said that a archangel doesn't go through all the loops of creation. It comes in at sixth plane. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't come through all that stuff. No, sixth plane. You see what I'm saying? So as an archangel, when it could go like in and out of the arc, with the work that knows there's an arc and an arch, a dome, a sphere. So what? They're under direct orders from God. Do they ever change their role? Ever? No. It's like the devil. You see what I'm saying? You're like there's an archangel, right? Doesn't change its what? Arc a type. Doesn't change its archetype. It's an archetype. It's not going to change. It's as unchanging as God. It's an archetype, archangel, not arc, only like the dome, but archetype. Not going to change. Good question, Alan. The individual Atma comes in, the other ones come in and have to go through the whole time loop, right? But they can reach God. And an angel must remain in his position doing its work for God. What it's never been separate from God. And so there's no other feeling ever that it wants to do anything ever than serve God. It will never have another feeling. It's the perfect, it's not separate from God. Do you see what I'm saying? If it can never have a feeling and never take a creation and never take a form that would be anything out of the direct emanation of God to serve God, how would it be separate from God? And it isn't, and it's always under God's orders, it's perfectly under God's orders, not separate from God. It's an aspect of God because it's not separate in any way. It didn't take the rest of it was never separate. Great. Alec asked some great questions. See, the better the question asker, the better answers. You see, because I don't have an answer. Whatever. I'm already with God. What questions do I have? I don't have, my question is, how do I serve you? I don't have questions about the nature of reality, except to help the servants of God who are trying to understand the nature of reality. So the one that asks the best question gets the best answer. So great. Angelic, yes. Found the phone with a proof pics of. Oh, I like that aspect. You maybe post some in the. People need to see miracles. Miracles are the only thing that turn a soul. That's just the way we're created. Show. Oh, God's real. Why don't you show me? Oh, how about I get you out of Devon, Texas? Wait, I don't know if you want me to show you want me to show you. Wait a sec. Wait a sec. Was it your question? Oh, that would be cool in the classroom, Dee. Think about it. All right. Valeria, is this the only time loop happening at the moment? Yeah. Yes. No. Running parallels. No, there's no parallels. That's what they talk about. Now, there are other bubbles, and those are happening, right? The moon is happening right now. You see it. Their souls trapped up in hell right now, right? Oh yeah. And there were souls that did good and went to heaven. That's not the end of the game, right? Oh, you did your job perfectly. You did follow the orders. Da, 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 you're gonna heaven. Okay, well that's still duality. You see, they're full up in the house, right? And those realities are occurring, absolutely. And in the other worlds that don't have beings in them, like Neptune is an egg that's in this, coming around, and the cycle is going to be something else. That's happening. Who cares if trees are growing in friggin' Neptune? Whatever, right? It don't matter. It's just part of creation. But how does that affect you? What affects you is what you can have an effect on your actions. And so you won't be judged outside of that. You're not judged on what's happening on Neptune. So it don't matter if it is or if it isn't. Who cares? It don't matter to your situation of how you need to act today. Because that's all you got. You have this time loop. I'm telling you, time is short, and I'm not going to be around for a really long time. So what are you going to do? That's the nature of this reality. Wizard of Oz. I'll get you, my pretty. Turns over the hourglass. Yeah, and a crystal ball in the hourglass. There you go. Ding. Not an easy game. God level game. You want to get to God. God's like, oh, well, you want to get to God? I made a little game you gotta play. It's like, yipes. Gabriel appeared when Jack was given the sword of Christ. Correct. It's called a sword of judgment, but it was the event that made me Christ, not the sword. But it's gifted to the individual that receives the gift of being the most despised one. I uh why? Why did that happen, Dee Dee? I'm gonna tell you why. Because I had nothing, literally nothing. The things that happened to me during the 48 hours of trying to get to Indy and Bear Mama's tomb are just beyond describable. They were witnessed by Dee Dee, so that was important. But I had no money, and they did the airport shooting, at Fort Lauderdale, and I couldn't. I had less than 100. I was going to India with less than $100 in my bank account, just FYI, because that's when I was supposed to go. Could you do that? So I did it when they did the Fort Lauderdale shooting. I didn't even have money for a hotel room, and Dee Dee helped me out with that. Like she just offered, and I was like, I was just standing on the boardwalk, which is a paved whatever in Fort Lauderdale, across to the Greyhound place. I was like, I guess I'll be sleeping on the sand. It could be worse. It could be freaking a lot colder. It was windy, and I got a hotel room. So she served the sermon, and that was that. Only one did. No one else did. That was the way it happened. And so that's that. Dee Dee was a witness. It's true. Chosen by God and sent the messenger of God. It's real. I mean, it's not expected. You know what I'm saying? But there has to be an expectation that God is real because otherwise, life is purposeless. So, I was so adamant that day searching to get him out of there. Faded, and my phone looked a reservation for a hotel. Yeah, I couldn't. It was dark. It was not good. I got some rest, and then the plane flew out the next day, and they stole my truck the night before, and it was on and on and on and on. And it is. He didn't do the reservation. Well, I certainly didn't. Oh my God, it's yeah that hearing that recounting of that from your end in the classroom area, that in the thing, so people could hear your testimony. That might be cool. Yeah, it's right near the water because that's where the Greyhound drops you off to. That's where the Greyhound station is. I mean, the train station. I say Greyhound train station, and you know, then they take a taxi to the airport from there. And yeah, tell you about the truck being stolen. Night before I'm supposed to drive to the airport, to go to Bear Mama's tomb for the first time ever. I have been running this game on Facebook and YouTube and everything. Hey, I'm going to take this Toyota Tundra truck because what? When they foreclosed on my house, they also repoed my truck that as a builder and stuff. So I couldn't build, couldn't it goes to work and all that. So I went back to the same dealership in Wilmington, North Carolina, and got another one. I'm like, oh, you took my truck, so I'm going to take one for you. And I was like, let's see if God is real. Me versus, God versus the devil. Let's see if I can beat this thing. Well, found out courts are fake, and I'm driving all over the U.S. and stuff like that in a truck I never paid for. And the night before I'm going to uh, India, literally the night I would drive in that truck to go to get to the airport, I couldn't because I had a chain to the tree in the front yard with the most powerful chain I could purchase, and it was just gone when I woke up right in that morning. And then I had to figure out a Greyhound bus, and I was like, "Oh, I made a train, but from here you got to take a bus to a train." And so I needed to get a cab at that time of day, which I couldn't. So I finally got one. He took me to the wrong. There are two train stations. He brought me to the wrong one. I mean, two bus station brought me to the wrong one. And so it was too late. The bus had already left from the other one, and then I was at this one, and I went inside. Do you have a bus going to the airport? I got to get there. And like, yeah, it's leaving in like a half hour. I'm like, fuck, I made it. Took this bus for 8 hours to Fort Lauderdale. Uh, Barely made I was like, I come out of the Greyhound terminal, run over to the taxi stand. I'm like, dude, I gotta get, please get me to the airport. I'm gonna be late. Please help. Please. And the guy's like, you're not going to the airport. I was like, dude, I was like, what? I go to the next guy. There are like 5 cabs, 8, something like that, in line there, and all the dudes are just hanging out, like reading the paper, doing nothing. And the Greyhound bus just got there. I'm like, I just ran outside. Hey, I'm the first one. Hey, dude, I get me. I need to go. And he's like, dude, you're not going to the airport. The second guy tells me, I'm not going to the airport. He looks at me. Listen. I was like, what? He's like, go back inside the Greyhound bus terminal and go look at the TV. I was like, what? He's like, listen, I'm telling you something. Go back inside the terminal and go look at the TV. I was like, what the fuck? I go back inside. Fort Lauderdale shooting at the airport. Blah, blah. What the? What? And I got no money for a hotel room. So I just told the rest. Boom. I opened it up and I got there. So 48 hours in a row it took me of traveling to get to that tomb of their mamas. I was so near death exhausted. It's unexplainable. And that's how it happened. Right in the middle of the hose. Oh, yeah, no, they created him yes. This is so much. Stole my truck, brought me to the wrong bus station, did this shooting hoax. It's just. And it was so difficult, and I barely had time to get any of that together. I didn't have any money hardly at all. And I get there in India, and I'm like, I didn't have a chance to make a reservation with a driver to drive me the 6 hours in the middle of the night to the Mama Center from Mumbai. Whoops. I just go I don't have time to do it. I'll have to figure it out when I get there, which is impossible. What? And I come out of there. And this guy looks at me from over. He's like, Jay Baba. I was like, Jay Baba. And I was like, I need to get to, the Baba Center. He's like, he's like, give me your phone. He gets me some dude. He's like, I'm going to travel with you to Pune, which he did. And then he made sure I went to a hotel with Mayor Bama's giant painting in the lobby in Pune. Like, here, someone will pick you up and drive you the other half from, someone was coming from the Mayor Bama Center to get me, and somebody brought me from the airport. At the halfway point, I'm sitting in the lobby of a Mayor Bama hotel, which I don't even know what it was, or still don't know what it is. Honestly, it was the middle of the night in Pune. I was like, here's the next car. Off I went. Yeah, tell me how impossible that was. There are a couple people in India. Let me tell you, there are a few of them. Jay Baba. Thank God the fairy showed up and got me up there. Sleeping on a boat. Yeah, that was the second trip. That was the second trip when I went to I found Jesus' tomb in Kashmir. Second trip. Yeah, that was the second trip. I found Jesus Christ's tomb in Kashmir. There's only one place this is under war for the entire time loop, right? There's only one place, Kashmir. Only one place under war the entire time loop, Kashmir. One place. I went there. You're gonna die. Whatever. Hopefully, you talk a good game. Let's see if you can carry through on that. You're gonna die. I. Of course, you keep people away. What do you? Yes. Who's supposed to go there? Anyway, all right. That's a big long Sunday. Try and absorb that. If that'll crack your vessel, know it all that to you. Pray to God, right? Mary Baba, Jesus Christ. I mean, but there's God. You see, God's running the whole thing and made all these characters of everybody. You, me, and Jesus and Mary Baba, everybody, everything, right? God is running this show. We blame everything on God and say, hey, I'm blaming you if you don't get me home. So get me home. Tell me what to do. How am I going to do it? And I'm coming home. And that's it. Simple like that. Keep it simple. Okay. All right. Thanks for the support of Kid too without support. Like Didi got me to India. This, no perfect master can get there on their own because they have to take donations and be supported and so on. They have to serve. Have to serve. They have to serve. They have to serve with alms. They have to have their hands out and be, a beggar, which is all I have been for more than a decade as a beggar. And people have handed me alms, and I serve God, and that's it. That's right, Didi. There's nothing else. There's only God is real, and our only role and the only thing that God emanates is service to God. You're just feeling separate from it. Maybe not you so much, but that's the feeling that we have, and you feel it and you do it. So that's all we have. There is nothing else. Serve God. And God's like, oh, you're my servant? Come on home. I was just checking to see if you're my servant, if you weren't having to be my servant. Yeah, I'm your servant. Get me out of here, dude. For real. What are you doing? I love you. How did we get into, get me home? He's like, yeah. But remember, you're my servant. So get down there and give him a hand. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Could you make it so I can't be a sucky servant and get me support people? Could you do that? Because I feel like I suck at it. So, not that you're not important. Obviously, that was like a joke. Do you follow me? I'm not looking for fame or nothing like that. I've been just saying, I got to go back, kneel at God's feet and say, dude, I did my absolute 24/7 best since I met you. And, you know, he was like, yeah, but you weren't supposed to get that many. Like, oh. Thank you, Jay. I am trying my best. I truly am. So thank you for your support. Your support is what makes it so I could do this, is what I'm saying. I literally am not allowed to do anything else, you see, but I had to have my hands out to God, to beg. It's a new life, right? I begged the whole time. It's a new life. There's only a new life. You want a new life? You want to get out of this life, right? New life. I'm begging to get out of here. That's it. If I'm doing well enough, I get some alms. I live another day. I serve you another day. My brothers and sisters. Let's get out of here, eh? Nah. Anybody in here? That's the furthest thing. They are nobodies. They play a role. That's being a nobody. No, we're the only somebodies in here. No. They want you to feel that, but come on. Why am I not dead, dude? Why am I not dead? Why don't they just clip me? Come on. Why don't they just clip you for listening to this crap? You could be a problem too. No, they can't. They're lesser than. You've got to feel where their limits are. You see what I'm saying? They are one thing. There's one emotion, pride. What does that come from? One thing. One thing. Jealousy. They want to be us. And they want us to want to be them. And we're like, bleh. No thanks. They're like, ugh. Yeah. No. Yeah, whatever. The cops are nobodies. We have his name. And so they have nothing. What? It's fun after a while. You start messing with them and stuff, you know? Yeah, you're not nothing to nobody. Nobody gets to think that or say that up in here. It's quite the reverse, actually. You should. That's not respecting what God has done for you. If you think about it, you got to think about it that way. You have to respect that God in every way. God did all this, so you're here in an individualized soul, talking with me and listening to me and saying, "I get it." Now, you're the opposite of a nobody. Come on, come on. Don't you see that? God has a role for you. And that's why we'll end this on the topic of this video. Pilgrimage is ultimately the most important and a necessary step to take a pilgrimage, because you must be judged while in a body by God at a defined by God pilgrimage location, so you could then become an actual servant as judged by God to be valid on this plane and do my work from here under the spiritual hierarchy of the current Christ. That's why pilgrimage is important. From everything that I just said, you must be judged now to become a servant now. Because you got to be with God. And God's got to tell you how you got to serve, not me, not somebody else. Right? You ain't waiting up, you ain't talking to me, listening to me, or doing any of this stuff for anything but one reason. What am I meeting with God? If you are, you're here for the wrong reason. All right, listen, I gotta end this up. 300 pound. Oh, it's you. Oh, right. Yeah. No, we start forgiving them and praying for them. Hey, thanks for getting me here. You don't need to do it anymore. And you start praying for them. Go on to the next crew. We don't need to do this tonight. You know, pray for you. Go on to the next one. You know, the devil's preferring a service. You work for the devil. Off you go. No one cares anymore. You really don't need them. Hey, that's what you emanate to them. I'm with God. I don't need your thingy anymore. Thanks. Bye. What? It's really that simple, you see? That's when it ends. They'll keep testing you until it's ended in you. Dude, they don't end. The helicopters, that's a distance thing. That's them not getting close to you. We're watching you like, good. Here's your orders for today. When they fly over, hey, listen, I need you. I'm praying for this. You tell them what to do. They read your mind. Okay, well, thanks for coming by for orders. Here's your orders. No, switch the script. Come on, realize who you are. See, you got that. I'm not important. Yeah, they're important enough to come by for orders every day for me. So here they are. All right, listen, I'm gonna go. Wow, it's warm in here. I didn't turn on the AC because it was actually like 70 degrees this morning, but it's not anymore. All right, next week, right? Uh, really, thanks for the support. Thanks for the donations. I can't do it without you. So thank you. All right. God loves you. Don't forget that.